Hi guys, so in this video we are going to take a look at the suffixes. Now just as was the case with prefixes, there are certain things that you need to keep in mind when a word has a suffix, and various words have suffixes, some nouns, some verbs, and the general rule about suffixes is that we don't stress them. Like I said, generally speaking, we don't stress them at all. If you take a look at these examples, the first one is Meinung. Now I've already talked about it in the previous video, but again here the suffix ong only tells us that this is a noun. On its own, it does not carry any meaning. And the general rule about pronunciation and laying stress is that we stress the most important part of a word. That means the essence of a word, what the meaning part of the word is, and that part here is the meinen. No? It comes from the verb meinen, to opine, to have an opinion, and that's where Meinung, we need to stress the first part, which you've already seen. That's why the general rule for all suffixes is that don't stress them. So let's go through a few nouns and say them aloud to get this fact clear. This would be Meinung. This would be Stellung. Again, Stellung, lala. And this is Wohnung, lala. So let's take a look at this suffix, height. Height as a suffix is used again to make nouns from maybe adjectives or other nouns to mean something else, like this word, and the pronunciation would be Freiheit. Like we talked about suffixes with the previous example, the ung, height in itself doesn't have any meaning. That's why that should not be stressed. Rather, the meaning part of the word, which is frei here, the freedom, that should be stressed. So repeat after me. It would be Freiheit, lala. Or this word would be Einheit. Again, the ein, the unity, that is more important here. As I stress that Einheit. Never say it plain and simple Einheit like that. No. That doesn't sound good, right, at all. Although instinctively, if your mother tongue is one of the Indian languages, you might tend to say like that, because like I've said, the words in many Indian languages do not have an inherent accent. It's very, very situational. But when you speak German, please say Einheit, and do that for almost every word that you read or speak. Let's take a look at the next example, and that is the word Kindheit. Again, the stress should be on the first part, which is kind. Remember, ka, you have to exhale and say ka, kind. Kindheit. The first part ends in a D, that sounds like t, kind. Height, la, Kindheit. Let's go on to the next. The next suffix that we will take a look at is this, kite. It is also used to form nouns and does not have a meaning of its own, which means obviously you should never stress it. An example of it would be Freundlichkeit. Now this is an interesting word in itself. It actually begins with the word Freund. It ends with a D, so the pronunciation would be t. Then we go on to make an adjective out of it. So we add the lich. Now the lich does not have its own meaning, which means you should not stress that. So if you just had the word freundlich, then the pronunciation is going to be freundlich, lala. Then we add the suffix to make a noun out of it, and it becomes Freundlichkeit, a nice step. Repeat after me. la la la, Freundlichkeit. Another example would be Süßigkeit. Same logic. The original word in this case is an adjective which means sweet. The pronunciation is süß. S followed by a vowel is the z. So never say süß. It is süß. It ends with an sz. So the vowel is long. So say nicely süß. Then we add the ig, which we pronounce as ich. So the word would be süßig. Again, the stress is on the süß part. La la. Say süßig. And add the kite and say Süßigkeit. La la la. Again, a nice step. Repeat after me. Süßigkeit. Hopping on to the next word. It's a fairly long word, and this is something that we already get to know in the A1. The word is Sehenswürdigkeit. Many syllables here. It starts with sehen. Remember, we don't have to separate the A and the H. We should not say sehen. No, we say sehen. Something that's worth seeing is sehenswürdig. Already 4 syllables. Sehenswürdig. And the step would be la 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 la. Repeat after me. Sehenswürdig. And then we add the kite to it so that it becomes Sehenswürdigkeit. Sehenswürdigkeit. If we say in a natural flow, it will be Sehenswürdigkeit. And the plural will be Sehenswürdigkeiten. La 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 la. That's the music in every word that we had spoken of earlier. So practice it that way. Let's go on to the next suffix. Again, we have a suffix that used to make nouns. Schafft. In this case, we are adding it to Freund, which is already a noun. So Freund means friend, of course, and Freundschaft is friendship. The meaning is not contained within the suffix. That's why we are not going to pronounce it. It's the same logic all over again. Freund should be stressed. D is at the end. Say with me, Freundschaft. Again, Freundschaft. Or this one would be Mannschaft, which means a team. A few rules are coming here. The first part ends with a double consonant, double N, that makes the vowel short. So the word would be Mann. Mannschaft. Never say Mannschaft. Ooh, that's not music to the ears. You must say Mannschaft. Die deutsche Mannschaft. Genau. We will tend to start pronouncing it as Mann. In our attempt to make the vowel short, very often we hear Mannschaft, but it shouldn't be a, because in German that sound is not available unless it's an a coming at the end, as we have seen earlier. So here it's a nice a. Mann. Mannschaft. Repeat after me. Mannschaft. Hopping on to the next. This word is Wissenschaft. Once again, Wissen will be stressed. Couple of rules here. Double consonant, again the double S that makes the E short. So the word would be Wissen. It starts with a V. So remember, you have to bite your lips and say Wissen. Never say Wissen. Doesn't sound good. Wissen. Wissenschaft. Going on to the next, we have the suffix Earan. E-A-R-A-N. Now this is interesting because this is one suffix that we are going to actually stress as against all the others that we have seen earlier, which we didn't. Why do we stress the Earan? Because if you actually look at all the verbs that end with Earan, you'll see that most of them are international words. The word here, for example, is reparieren. One look at it and you know that it comes from English. I don't know whether it comes from English, but it is similar to the English repair. So it's not an originally German word, it's an international word. And we have seen earlier that for international words, the stress is on, like it's in the second part of the word. So that becomes, that gives us the ieren part, which is stressed. So for all verbs that end with ieren, that is what you must stress. So repeat after me, reparieren. And this will stay true for all forms of the verb. If it's a Partizip 2, it will be repariert. The next word would be informieren. Same logic, ieren is stressed. Repeat after me, informieren. Partizip 2 would be informiert. La 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 la. A third example would be telefonieren. Now, we have talked about this earlier, but again, the A, even if it's an international word, retains its A sound. So the word is telephone, not telephone. That would be the danger. If you speak English fluently, you will tend to pronounce this word as telefo, but it's not telefo, it's telefo. Telefonieren. La 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 la. Telefonieren. And one more we'll do, which is used very often, studieren, because so many people want to study, maybe in Germany. So many students who are learning German are students already. Many students are students, of course. So the word would be studieren. La 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 la. So remember, ieren will be stressed. So one last suffix that we'll take a look at right now is related to the previous one. The previous one, the ieren, we saw that it comes from international words. This suffix, tion, you will easily recognize it's also there in English. Automatically the stress goes on this part, so that this word becomes information. You have to stress that. Once again, information. La 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 la. The next example would be Nation. La la la. Or this one, Situation. La 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 la. Now, many students will instinctively say situation because it is like in English. But remember, S followed by a vowel will become Z. Z. It has to vibrate here. Z. Z. Situation. And that's how you should pronounce it. That was it about suffixes. That wraps up our look into the prefixes and suffixes. You know which of them are stressed and which are not. Pay attention to them when you are reading out or speaking. I'll see you in the next module where we are going to be doing the Satzmelodie. See you there.